Hello, everyone, and welcome into Home Field Advantage presented by Capital One. I'm your host for today, Holly Rowe. You might know me from ESPN. Just getting ready to do my 25th year covering bowl games, and we're so excited to break down the Capital One Orange Bowl today with some pretty exciting guests. I'm pretty excited about this one today because we have two current NFL players. Let me introduce our exciting guests to talk about the Orange Bowl. First up, this young man is an Aggie. You get him all the way. Mike Evans was one of the best wide receivers we have ever seen come through at Texas A&M. He is currently playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and just he and Randy Moss are the only players who have had 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start their career. He's on pace for a 7th 1,000 yards. Welcome in, Mike Evans.
Holly, thank you for having me. You legend.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that. Okay, now we've already had quite a bit of trash talk already, and this didn't even start yet. So I can't wait till we get these guys on together. Joining us now, also currently playing in the NFL, Pittsburgh Steelers, who just clinched their division and their playoff spot, Eric Ebron, a legend from North Carolina, former tight end for the Tar Heels, who's doing big things in the NFL, and can't wait to talk a little receiving with these two guys. We got a tight end and a wide receiver to make it pretty fun today. How are you, Eric?
I'm good, Holly. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I just have to be real with our audience. See, he's already going to tease you about that was not a good enough answer. So you two know each other. You guys have a friendship, and you've been talking a lot of smack already. How do you two know each other so well?
You be my guest, Eric. Go ahead.
Mike, oh man. I mean, we're the same draft class. And then from the same draft class, I feel like that's already like a fraternity within itself. So man, ever since then, man, found out, Mike is in Houston. We're not too far from each other. I live in Houston now, or Texas. Mike's not exactly in Houston, but in Texas. And man, we clicked and we hang out. We've been cool.
Been in some basketball games together. We know each other's family.
I love it. Well, we're going to have fun today. You guys can talk about all that trash talk, all that basketball trash talk that we would love to hear from. I'm sure the fans would love to hear it. So first and foremost, if you guys want to get in on this conversation, fans, you can post your comments right in the chat. They will make sure that we see those and we can ask the guys anything you want. And so please be sure and be interactive with us and ask them what you'd like to see. Let's start a little bit. You talked about that draft class. I want to take you guys back to 2014. Both of you first-round draft choices. And Eric, I think one of the cool things about you is you started out at North Carolina. Freshman year, played in 10 games, 10 receptions. The very next, the Tar Heels, you jump up to 40 receptions. What did you do in college that really allowed you to be so successful for North Carolina right out of the gate as a sophomore?
Yeah, I had 3 seniors in front of me my freshman year, so there was no way for me to get playing time. And, I mean, I just would come in, do little gadget plays my freshman year. Then my sophomore year was pretty much all up to me and one of my classmates that came in, Jack. So we took over the reins from there. They allowed me to start opening up the field and start throwing the ball to me, and it was a successful thing for our offense. So that's what made me be successful in college football.
Awesome. And Mike Evans, I feel like you were just kind of a star. It felt like almost from day one. I remember watching you play in the SEC, and they just kept talking about these big receivers, this big receiving core of Texas A&M. And you guys were able to kind of go from the Big 12 into the SEC during that time period. When you look back on your career for the Aggies, what were some of the things that you were proud of that meant a lot to you?
Obviously, the relationships I made with my teammates. That was the first and foremost the best thing. I still have guys that I'm really close with now. Watching them get to build their families up and get different type of jobs, and it's crazy seeing their lives and how their lives played out. The relationships was my favorite thing, but the tradition, the fans was unbelievable, and I was so happy that we got to move to the SEC because I got to A&M, and it was we were in the Big 12 my freshman year, and I was the last year, so I didn't get to play in the Big 12. I probably definitely would have dominated, but I was happy we got to go to the SEC.
I love that. You definitely would have dominated. It's really fun. This season is kind of unusual, and I know a lot of people are going to be watching the Orange Bowl from home. It's on January 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the Capital One Orange Bowl. Where will you guys be watching the game? I know that you both have games the next day on the 3rd. So let me look at my notes here. I think you play the Falcons, Mike, and you play the Cleveland Browns, Eric. So where will you guys be watching this game from?
I'll definitely be home. My youngest son's birthday is on the 3rd, so we'll just be at the house.
Same. We don't have to travel. Home game, so we'll be at the crib. Family will be here watching, rooting on the Aggies.
I love it. So I've got a question already from Eric. What do you think about North Carolina under Mack Brown so far? They are in their biggest bowl game since 1950. Already under the direction of Mack Brown. He's just been there a few years.
Yeah. I mean, we finna win this bowl game. Ain't really much, talk about. Mack is back, you know what I'm saying? And he's been fantastic. I haven't, still to this day, I haven't talked to Mack personally, but we've exchanged like DMs and tweets and things like that. And you could just feel how Carolina has just like gravitated towards him and everything he's been doing. And we have one of the top draft class coming in, draft class, look at me, NFL, one of the recruiting classes coming in college football. So I think Mack's doing a fantastic job. I love it. Like I wish I could play under him, but I'm long gone.
Yeah, they've done such a good job kind of getting things back on track, having a ton of success this year. And the Aggies are in the same boat. I kept saying, all year last year, I kept saying, just wait, the Aggies are coming. 2020 is going to be their year. They played a monster schedule. I think they played 5 teams last year that were in the top 3 or 4 in the country, and it was a really tough schedule. And I kept saying, as Kellen Mond improves, watch out. And Mike, I want to ask you, I thought this could be a really special team this year, and if COVID hadn't happened, who knows what they could have achieved. But what did you think about how they kind of turned a corner this year?
Oh, they made big strides this year. I feel like Jimbo had his most disciplined season this year with this group. Kellen played outstanding this year. They just did what they were supposed to do. Sound on defense, sound on offense. Special teams played great this year. I mean, it was a good year for the Aggies. I wish that they would have got in the college football playoff. I don't know how they didn't. But Mack Brown, he's had our number in the past, but I don't think so this year.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up.
He's had our number in the past. He's had our number in the past when he was at Texas. But this is we got Jimbo Fisher. We got the momentum. We got the guys in the trenches. We got the playmakers. We're gonna dominate.
Can y'all stop the run?
We're gonna dominate. Y'all do have a fun team and some good backs. I like y'all's quarterback as well, but
okay, yeah.
We're gonna dominate.
Yeah, dominate. Okay.
I like what you say about the trenches, though. I like what you say. You guys are receivers, so I don't know if you appreciate the trenches like I do, but
I am glorified wide receiver. I do have a lot of trench work. Mike, no trench.
You are a receiving tight end, brother. Come
trench on. Work.
You're a receiving tight end. You got to block sometimes.
That's all I need. Sometimes.
Eric, when is the last time you had your hand on the ground?
All the time in Pittsburgh. Man, we got this one protection.
He has gotten bigger though.
Every time they call me protection, Juju laughs at me because he knows I hate it and I have to stay in and protect Ben. And I'm doing every game. Every game. I hate it.
But you do have to stay in and protect Ben.
I have to stay in and block a 270-pound defensive end that just wants to destroy you and the quarterback. So much fun.
I love it. There's a guy for Texas A&M that I love, Bobby Brown III. So I want to say it's his prerogative to stop the run. Did you get that? Are you guys too young to know Bobby Brown, My Prerogative song? Do you know?
Definitely not.
I know that song.
Young, but definitely know the song.
And I know our D lineman, Bobby Brown. He's a beast.
He's a beast. I really love watching him.
Big
what about
absolutely.
What about our receiver, De'Ami Brown? We gonna go. He not even playing.
I I didn't want to be the one to tell you that, but I knew you
opted out. I forgot. It's okay. It's okay. He got bigger dreams.
Well,
I'm feeling. Me and Mike left.
Perfectly fine. Yeah. Hey, not gonna.
Yeah, it's fun though because young guys are going to get opportunities, right? So younger guys are going to get opportunities, and one of the young guys that I really like for Texas A&M, Mike, I don't know if you've kept your eye on him, is Jalen Weidermeier. He's their tight end and led them in receiving this year with 45 receptions. He is nice, and I think he might be a freshman, but he's going to be really nice. What have you seen kind of from the young guys who will get some more?
You're right, Holly. He is nice. He is nice. I hope that. So this won't count against their eligibility, right? Or does this season not count?
It's like a free year. It's a free year if they want it, you know?
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm excited. I know a lot of the guys. I try to help recruit when I can. I hope my boy Demise gets some playing time. He was a highly recruited kid out of Houston that I followed through high school. A really cool kid. Nia Smith has been balling. Isaiah Spiller. He's actually one of my favorite players that A&M has had in recent years. I love watching him, man. He's smooth. He kind of reminds me of Arian Foster a little bit.
Oh,
he had those good years in Houston. He's like a smooth runner. Like he's gliding out there, like a little, and he's physical. So I'm looking forward to him having a big game, and I hope it's going to be a great game. And the fans deserve it.
I love that you brought that up. I think Isaiah Spiller has been maybe one of the best backs in the country that people weren't really talking about. Like he's almost a 1,000-yard back this year, and he's a monster. So I love that you brought him up. And then Aniyah Smith, I love too. Number one, he
can do it all. Swiss Army knife.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, we got another call from the chat. This is a question from Steve Myers. Know what Eric likes most about Pittsburgh?
What do I like most about Pittsburgh? I don't know because I don't get the full renegade, crazy Steeler mob like.
I love that though. That renegade third down.
Oh my! Like I think we had it for one game, and it was maybe like we had like 20% capacity, and they still played renegade. It sounded like the whole stadium was full. I was like, if I could only feel what that feels like in a full stadium, but I didn't get that this year. So I look forward to that. And that's probably the only thing. I didn't really get to enjoy that Pittsburgh vibe, but I look forward to it. But Pittsburgh is ultimately dope.
It's a cool city. I like coming there. We come there a lot for Pittsburgh. Okay, so we've got another question. Carl Weaver wants to know, Mike, other than yourself, who is your favorite Aggie player of all time?
Ooh, that's tough. Just put me right on the spot. Because I can't say none of my teammates. Like, that'll be so many good ones. Golly. My favorite Texas A&M player of all time would have to be football or basketball. Is football?
Ooh, good question.
I'll take Caruso in basketball. Caruso, that's my boy. Caruso.
He's having a nice career right now, yeah.
Okay,
he is, man. He deserves it. But football, Johnny Manziel, got to be. Slight edge over Ryan Swope.
Oh yeah, I love Swope.
Johnny Manziel. Only because he was my quarterback, and he was. Oh, that's my boy, man. Johnny was super fun to play with.
He was so fun. I remember having a conversation with Nick Saban back in the day. So you guys get to the SEC. The first time Alabama plays Johnny Manziel, they cannot contain him, and it's a thing. And so from that point forward, Nick Saban actually started changing how he would recruit. You know, he used to have these really big, heavy linebackers, and he's guys who could run and keep up with multiple quarterbacks. So they started recruiting a little bit smaller size. So I always liked that Johnny Manziel was the guy that got Nick Saban to change some of his recruiting tactics there.
He changed the game for everybody. Johnny was an era. There's nothing we could do about it. Johnny was an era. He was.
Okay. All right. So I want to take you back to some college glory days. Eric, let's start with you. Do you have a play or a moment that you will always remember? Like when you were on the field for North Carolina, wearing that Tar Heel powder blue.
I got two. One is probably Gio's punt return against NC State. That was probably the greatest play I've ever, to this day, seen. Like, total team effort play to win the game, a punt return, insane. And my greatest moment was probably when we played Thursday night against Miami. We came out in all black uniforms, and it was like the craziest Keenan Stadium's like ever been, and I was a part of it, so that was dope.
Guys love the black uniforms, don't you? What is it about those? Like the Marauder,
like you ready to put in work when you got that all black on. Like,
sure.
Ready to put in work.
Sure.
I love it. They did it again this
year.
It's like
most events you dress up for is usually like black events, black events. So you feel like when you put on black, it's just like, ooh, okay.
Fancy.
Yeah, you feel
like that. Okay, so let's do one for Mike then. You talked a little bit about how Mac Brown used to have your number in rivalry games. You know, Texas A&M was one of the biggest rivalries ever, and Mac was at Texas for a long time. So give me a moment that you played in a big rivalry game that stood out to you, Mike.
Who is our rival? I don't even know who our SEC rival is. I really don't.
It's a good question.
Who is it, Missouri or who is it, Arkansas? I don't know.
It's supposed to be, but I mean, maybe Arkansas from the old Southwest Conference days.
Yeah. Those are some good games. I scored my first touchdown against Arkansas. That's a good one.
Ooh.
I scored my first touchdown in my college career against Arkansas. Johnny was running around. We were in the goal line. He just kept running. And then he threw me like a low pass, and I kind of scooped it. I thought it hit the ground, but it went to review, and it stood. That was my first touchdown. And I remember a tight end, Nehemiah Hicks at the time, tackled me, kind of hurt a little bit. And then that was my first touchdown. So I remember that. I'll never forget that.
I love it. You had to stay alive with Johnny running like that and like keeping plays alive and trying to extend the play. How did you manage your routes? Like, how would you stay alive in your routes?
Well, we had rules. Every team has scramble rules, but we would probably practice them a little bit more than other teams would because how mobile and how accurate he was on the run. And he liked to make plays like that, get out the pocket. And it's hard to cover somebody for 1 second, let alone 3 seconds or so. It was tough. So we used to practice that a lot. And it was fun playing a little backyard football.
Yeah, I remember doing a game, Texas A&M at Mississippi State, and Johnny was going off. And you know how security guards are supposed to keep their back to the field and, you know, they're like looking up into the stands. And this security guard kept turning around and watching the game. And he said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't help it. He's just so nice." And he was like, "I've never seen somebody play like this in person. He's making me not want to do my job right now." And I was like, I think you're right. Johnny Manziel is so good. All right, let's turn a little bit to the current team. So you guys have both been part of teams. Mike, you were talking about with Tampa Bay, you know, some losing seasons. And this year it's so cool because you're into the playoffs, kind of this transformation with Tom Brady coming down there. What are some characteristics of winning teams that you've been around when you were at A&M and now that you're at Tampa and back in a winning culture that kind of stand out to you?
So you could really only talk about A&M.
What? All right. Well, this year we're in, so we're good.
For sure.
Been a long time coming, but we're in. All right. Well, first, I think this year and my time at A&M, the guys are really close on the team. I feel like the camaraderie was really high on those teams, and I feel like we were very disciplined. You know, each year we have a lot of guys that can play, a lot of guys that are talented, but when guys are disciplined and are cohesive and just having a good time with each other, I feel like that's a recipe for success. So that's what I feel that this team has as well. This young A&M team. With Kellen Mond at the helm, older vet. I feel like they have a great camaraderie from what I hear from the guys. From their chaplain is a real close friend of mine. So I stay in touch with the team, and I feel like that's why they've been having a successful season.
I love that you stay close and that you said you help them recruit when you can. I think that's really special that you're still invested in them. And I know that's really special. Yeah, Kellen has really grown. I did his game this year against Florida, and it's the best I've ever seen him play. And that
was definitely his best game.
finally, I could feel how proud of himself, he was in that moment. And I'm really happy to see his growth. He's a really sweet kid. All right, Eric, we've got a question from the chat for you. Have you ever talked to Michael Jordan while on campus for North Carolina?
MJ?
What?
Nope. I think Michael Jordan.
Have you ever met him? Sorry.
Sad story. Yeah, let's talk about this. I hope
Eric.
he's so no. I think he came to campus maybe one time out of my 3 years there. When our basketball team was nasty. We had a nasty basketball team. And I think he came back 1 year to see the game. And then I had saw him and was like this close, but couldn't quite get to him when we were playing in the national championship game when Villanova hit that shot. I was up in a suite. We were like, our suites and stuff were all near each other. So yeah, it was close, but not close enough. So no MJ stories, only shoes.
I have interviewed him before, and I actually named my son after him. So my son's name is Mykylin Jordan. So
wow, that's dope.
I saw you huge Michael Jordan.
Huge. In fact, watching The Last Dance during quarantine, I was like, everybody that didn't know about how competitive he was, like now you know, like he was a very unique competitor. All right, we've got another question coming in to Mike. Richard Hunter wants to know what it's like in the huddle with the GOAT. When things are tight, does he do something to get things settled down? And I'm just going to interpret for you. I think he's probably talking about Tom Brady.
I agree. He has to be. But it's crazy, man. I never thought that I'd be playing with Tom Brady. I used to be upset when he beat the Colts because I was a huge Peyton Manning fan growing up. And now, he's in the huddle. It's an unreal experience, but when times get tough out there, he knows how to, take control for sure and get everybody. He says the right things to get everybody going.
Can you give me an example? Like, you're coming off a really good game. I wanted to bring up this game you just had against Detroit. 10 receptions out of 12 targets, 181 yards.
Oh, my God.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
It's a good game,
A lot of
Eric.
practice. Yeah. A lot of practice.
That route was just.
I can't explain it. I mean, he just outthinks everybody, and he thinks about everything. So every situation, he tries to think about this how to fix the problem, and that's why he's been so great for so long.
I love it, and I'm sure you guys trust him, right? Even though your season kind of started a little rocky, there were some rocky moments.
Yeah, absolutely. In those moments, in those moments of adversity, I feel like we found ourselves and we found out what we were made of. Like, we really did. Like, it wasn't like in the past where guys would be down, like, oh, I can't wait for the off season. I'm going to play on a different team and doing things like that. Like, guys really wanted to come to work and practice harder and play harder.
Beautiful. Eric, you guys are in a winning spot as well. I'm so proud of Pittsburgh. I'm a secret Pittsburgh Steeler fan in that I'm obsessed with James Conner. He was going through cancer recently when I was going through cancer. And I saw him, I was like about ready to die going through chemo. And I saw him running drills wearing a mask when he played for Pittsburgh. So I've become a huge James Conner fan. So you got to give him a big hug for me. He's my bet. I just think he's a cool kid. But you guys have a special feeling too on this team. What is it? Like, what is working for Pittsburgh right now?
I just feel like you got the pressure. You just have the pressure to win. It's like, it's Pittsburgh. It's like everybody that plays against Pittsburgh, even when I used to play against Pittsburgh, I'm like, damn, Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's one of those organizations that speak for itself. You know that you have to bring your A game because they're capable of blowing you out. Their defense is always going to be good, and it's like it just is what it is here. And it's a feeling as soon as you walk in the building, you're introduced with all those silver Lombardis looking at you as soon as you walk in, and you gotta compete with that. So It's Pittsburgh. That's really all I can say. It's you don't understand it unless you're a part of it. It's crazy.
You know how when people talk about culture, like the culture of our team or the culture of our program, and it sounds like this kind of media thing people say, I think it's real at Pittsburgh, right? No. Like you walk in that building and it's the culture. And I think Coach Tomlin has done such a nice job there building that culture and maintaining it. So I love what you're saying there. All right, I'll get you a couple more questions and we'll get out of here. Let's get back to the Orange Bowl. So it's going to be a really cool game. Tell me a little bit about when you guys are watching a game, how do you watch a game as players? Are you like I'm really into the offensive line and I'm looking at the battle. Like, is there a nose guard over the center? And I'm always looking for what's happening on the line. What do you guys look at when you watch a game and what are you excited to watch on January 2nd?
For me,
watch everything.
Just love to watch it for sure. Sure.
The physicality, the one-on-one matchups, where there could be receivers, corners, tight end safeties, backers, O-line, whatever. I love it all.
For sure. I'm interested to see what we're going to perform like. We had a lot of people opt out, a lot of people that deservingly should have the right to play at the next level aren't playing in this game. So I'm honestly wanting to see what our youth is going to be like because this team was so unexpectedly good. Like I'm excited to see what we have for the future. So I'm always a part of it. I'm always a part of the Carolina family and the recruiting and everything. So I'm excited to see what our young people are going to do. It's going to be dope.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Sometimes in bowl games, I think it's teams that have something to prove. And I really feel like both of these teams still have a lot to prove. You know, Texas A&M wants to prove they're one of the best teams in the country. North Carolina wants to prove that they can sustain that kind of success. So what do you think these guys have to prove, if anything? Mike?
I mean, prove what they got. Obviously, there's some guys that are playing for more than just their last memories. They're playing for draft status and things like that. But just go out and play like it's your last. Have fun with it because you never know when the next game's guaranteed. So just go out there and give it your all. You're not promised anything. And just have fun with it.
Okay. Oh, Eric, I'm going to ask you this one. This is another one coming in from the chat. What does your team need to do to win?
Against Texas A&M or against Cleveland?
Oh, they got to do a whole lot.
Okay, I don't know. Both. I want to hear both of those answers.
Against Texas A&M, I mean, I just want to see what we're gonna be like. I mean, when you're in the ACC, one of the things people always talk about is how the SEC is like the powerhouse, you know? So here's your opportunity to go against one of the powerhouses in football as an ACC opponent. Opportunity I wish I had, you know, when I was in college football to dominate SEC opponents, but we never got that opportunity. We weren't that good. So now that we are that good, take advantage of this. I want to see if they take advantage of the opportunity to play against the worst SEC team.
You didn't want that SEC smoke because you were a highly recruited guy. You could have went anywhere.
I was a highly recruited guy that didn't want to leave home. Ain't nothing SEC in North Carolina.
You wanted to stay home in North Carolina.
Good excuse.
Okay. I had to keep my mama close.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
All right, and then what do you have to do to win against Cleveland?
We got to go in there and win. They playing for a playoff spot. So we come in there half-stepping, they're going to beat the mess out of us. Like it's already been told Ben ain't playing. So, whoo, let's go.
Ooh, okay. One more chat. Richard Hunter wants to know, Mike, what's your favorite Aggie tradition?
The swaying. We sway.
Saw the horns off the long.
Oh yeah, varsity's horns off. Yeah, I like that one a lot. It gets rocking in there too.
Conversation, Holly.
What?
My wife is an Aggie.
Yeah.
You buried the lead. How did you not tell us until this late in this conversation?
I had to hold it in until the end.
Yeah, the way. I was going to say it, but I was going to let him say it.
Ooh, so is there going to be any kind of marital discord in this game?
Yeah, my wife went to school with Mike. That's funny.
Yeah, we're all the same. 2011, right? We're all 2011.
Yep. We're all 2011, yep.
Oh, and you said your wives are friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Okay,
crazy. Before we go, we got just a couple more minutes here. There's no more questions coming in. Before we let you go, Mike, let's talk about you. Okay, I got one more thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, consensus first team All-American. Like you said in this bowl game, you know, kids are playing for different reasons, you know, up in their draft stock or making a name for themselves. You were a consensus All-American. What do you think was important, the way you carried yourself in college in your last year, you know, before you turned pro, that these kids need to know and you could give advice to the young people today?
Well, I mean, you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. Like you said, if they want their draft stock to rise or they just need a job in the future, you always want to just, you know, do the right things for the right reasons. And, you know, that's what I did when I was in college. I treated everybody with respect and just gave it my all because, like I said before, nothing's promised. And I just try to take advantage of all my opportunities. And I hope the young kids do that and that'll help them out in the future.
I can attest, you always carried yourself with a lot of class. Like every time I covered your games, you were classy guy. And I think that's how you played in the NFL.
When the competition rises, I can get a little ahead of myself. You know, off the field.
I'm not saying you somebody
I try
shove
to do
them
the right
to the ground by their helmet or something. Like, I mean, I saw you make some very physical shedding guys off like they were nothing. I'm not saying that.
No, I got you.
You got me. Okay. Last time, before we let you go, Eric, you said that you had some advice for your younger self. You were talking to some of our folks earlier today, and you were saying, man, if I could go back and talk to myself when I was in college, I would tell myself to do what? What was it you said?
Two things. It'd be two things. It'd be one, to have more fun in college because I wasn't like a big partier. I never really went out. I never really did anything. So I would enjoy college a little bit more. And the second thing is I would definitely up my swag. I had no college swag. My swag was all piss poor. No visor. My face mask and my helmet was, oh my God.
Boring? It couldn't be boring. You had 62 receptions your last year in college. You had some swag on the field, right?
Almost 1,000 yards. Mike, you hear that?
Oh, man.
Hey, tight end. Wow.
That's when you could run, though, but you could run back then. Now you're like 20 pounds heavier. You used to look fit in college, bro. You could run. Now you're like 4.7 speed, probably 4.6. Used to be 4.4.
Still fast for a tight end, man.
4.5.
Are you
easy.
going to have to block Myles Garrett? Are you going to have to block Myles Garrett? Is he going to come off?
All right, let's talk about this big question, Holly.
They'll double team him, Holly. They'll double team him.
I wasn't here for anything that transpired last year, Holly. So I don't know if I'm going to have to block Myles Garrett or not. But if I do, I hope he understands that I was not here last year. Please be nice.
Oh, right. That was the game, right? Is Mason Rudolph going to be your starter? Okay.
Oh, Holly is ramping it up, ain't she?
Holly figured out what I'm putting down. Holly figured out what I'm putting down, Mike.
All coming together for me now. Yeah, you're going to be like, man. Yo, I wasn't here last year. I wasn't here last year, Miles.
Be cool. I wasn't here.
All right, we'll be sure to get that out there. Thank you guys for being with us. This has been so much fun. Eric, I did not get to cover your games in college, but I wish I did. You just seem like
you wasn't that good.
You didn't miss anything. Yeah, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss nothing.
Oh, I love it. Well, good luck this week, you guys. I know you both have big NFL games and the playoff. Both of you are both in the playoffs. So congratulations. Have fun watching this game, talking a little smack. I wish we could be on the text chain between you guys and the wives, getting the wives in on this. That's probably going to be a fun text chain.
For sure. I
want to hear the smack talk. I definitely want to hear
friendly wager or something. We'll do something.
Definitely have a friendly wager.
All right. All right. Well, keep us posted. And all of you who are on with us now, don't go anywhere, because coming up next, we'll have the Capital One Orange Bowl Athlete Lounge. So you can see the link in the description for more information. You will get to hang out with these guys a little more up close and personal. Thank you guys so great to see. And we will be back tomorrow. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for my conversation with Jimmy Johnson and Dan Marino. Couple of Hall of Famers, no big deal. That'll be pretty awesome. That will be at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the Capital One Orange Bowl YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody. Be safe and healthy, and good luck in the NFL playoffs.